Hello, good morning, and welcome back to day 6 of our creativity challenge. Today's topic of the day is persistence. And this came up for me this morning because I went out last night, had a wonderful evening, and had lots of energy when I got home, so I didn't get to sleep until very late. And it's been a pretty full week for me. I have been working a lot, doing a lot of really interesting things, including this creativity challenge, which is new. And in the beginning of a new project, it's always rather challenging and time consuming to put it all together. So I found myself in bed this morning on a Saturday morning, totally exhausted. And I saw it coming yesterday afternoon. I was getting really tired. But this morning, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. Usually I only need about 6 hours of sleep and I am fine, totally ready to go with tons of energy. But this morning I went back to sleep until 9:15 and I never sleep that long. So the thing is, I woke up and I was still tired. So I kind of got myself up, I got myself to do some of my morning routine, went outside, hoping that would give me more energy, and I came back and I just felt dead. Made myself a protein smoothie, which I like to have in the morning, and listened to some music that was kind of inspiring, and I hoped maybe it would get my energy going, and it did, actually. But right before that happened, I thought, you know what? I don't want to do this creativity challenge today. I'm going to take the weekend off, which I certainly could have done, right? And in fact, I think we may actually take tomorrow off. Tomorrow is Sunday, and 30-day challenge doesn't mean it has to be 30 days in a row. It's just that we're doing this challenge for 30 days. So I think it also could be beneficial for everyone else to kind of catch up if you want on the topics of the day. Give yourself a little time. If you've fallen behind, we're going to take Sunday off. So there will be one day off each week. You can keep doing it. I mean, by all means, if you don't want to take a day off, go for it. Just continue. But I'm planning on taking one day a week off from this, and it's going to be tomorrow. But today, I decided that I wanted to be persistent. I made a commitment, and of course, I'm not going to stop. I actually feel very strongly about promises and commitments. And I have a very hard time breaking those. I don't believe in breaking them unless there's a really good reason. And being a little tired was not a good reason today. So the other thing that I wanted to share today on the topic of persistence is the key to continuing to honor a commitment for me. And this may be helpful for you if you ever feel like your persistence or your commitment or your resolve is flagging. So what I do when I'm confronted with this overwhelm or feeling lazy or like, oh, it's not that important, I don't need to stick to that, I'm free, I can change my mind, which is all true, but I really value the commitment. So what I do is I remind myself to ask myself, well, why did I start doing this in the beginning? Why is this actually important to me? How does this align with my life purpose, the way I understand it right now? And I always encourage my coaching clients to have a life mission statement. And if you've never heard of a life mission statement, I started doing this a number of years ago. Every New Year's or so, I would kind of review, why do I think I'm here? What do I want to do with my life? And this is something that you can change, right? You can think about it differently and you can tweak it so that it's really appropriate to who you are evolving into being. So my life mission statement is to be myself, love myself, share myself, and to inspire others to do the same. But that's just today's iteration of that. It does evolve, it does change. It wasn't the same last year. It had the same kind of flavor, but I worded it differently. So as we evolve, our life mission statement can evolve too. It's never set in stone. But I do encourage you to do this, like I encourage all of my private coaching clients, you should really consider having one. And you may not be able to come up with one right away, but if you had the intention to come up with a life mission statement, it is so helpful. Because when you do get stuck on something and when you're tempted to give up on a commitment, if you're tempted to back off and you realize that something's holding you back and you just don't want to do it, and you start feeling overwhelmed or lazy, or for whatever reason you want to back out of that commitment, you can refer yourself back to your life mission statement and ask yourself, well, which way would be more in alignment with who I want to be and what I want to do with my life? So when I didn't feel like doing this today because I was so tired this morning, I referred it back to my life mission purpose statement, and it totally aligns with that. So that's a big picture thing, but then there are also the smaller goals, right? So I set a really clear goal for this 30-day creativity challenge. And it is very important to me to be practicing the Izai Balad, and it's even more important to me to be exploring creativity in different areas of my life so that I can bring all of the myriad parts of my life together to nourish and nurture myself as a musician, so that all of me, mind, body, soul, spirit, can come through my music in a very integrated and focused way that, again, matches up with my life mission, the way I see it today. So that's when I started to get energized again, and I'm like, persistence, that is the topic of the day. And it's hard sometimes. It's really hard to stick to a commitment sometimes. But if you keep referring it back to your purpose, why you want to do it in the first place, then it will be much easier to conjure up the energy needed to continue, to persist with what you set out to do. Or it may become clear that you need to change direction, and whatever you committed to is no longer at the top of your priority because you have a higher priority for yourself. So on a personal basis, that's what happened with my marriage. Marriage is a very, very, very serious commitment, and I continued married for 26 years. I felt very, very strongly about that commitment, but ultimately it was more important. I had higher priorities to take care of my own well-being, my own self, and so I made that decision to leave. And once it was clear, I haven't regretted it for a second, and that's the truth. But it was a very, very long time in coming, and I persisted. So that's the kind of energy and honesty that I'd like to present to you as a possibility. So that may seem really big, really heavy for this little 30-day creativity challenge, but it all depends on what it means to you, right? This 30-day challenge means a lot to me personally, and it fits in with my desire to share all of these things with all of you and anybody else in the world who could benefit. So I take it very seriously, and I decided to persist and stick to my commitment today, and that's why I'm here, and I will practice. And actually, now I'm talking about it, I feel much more inspired, and I'm looking forward to actually doing the practicing, which I'm going to do in just a few moments. And if you, just as a reminder, if you're ever curious to see exactly how I'm applying these things to my own personal musical practice, to give you ideas for how you could maybe explore applying the topic of the day to your musical practice, I am recording all of those. So they're in the complete set, which is available. And you can see the link that I put there for that if you're interested in that. So before I leave, I do want to say hello to everybody here. I'm seeing Taylor here. Hey, it is so nice to see you again. I'd love to come down to the Carolinas again sometime. It would be nice to see you in person again sometime. And Greg is here. Hey, hello, Greg. Haven't seen your name pop up for a while. And David, hello. And Sandro is here as well. So glad you could all join me live. If you're watching the replay, please just say hello so that I know you are here. And think about what you're tempted to give up on, perhaps, what you could be more persistent with, in a kind, self-compassionate way too. And that's where the life mission statement really comes in, because it's compassionate to yourself to seek deeply why you want to do it, because if you're just forcing yourself to do it, it's not good, because then you just do whatever you're doing with a lot of tension. And my work is all about finding ways to do what is important to you, what you're passionate about, what you love, with ease and grace. So think about the questions. If you're signed up for the email series, you get more questions thrown your way just to spark your creativity, right? You don't even have to think about all of them, but maybe one of them will capture your curiosity and inspire you for the day. That's my hope. So thanks again for being here. Have a lovely day. And now I am going to go do my Alexander Etudes, and I'm going to practice and apply persistence to my practicing. Have a great day. Happy practicing, and lots of love always. Bye-bye.